Hello everyone and welcome to my tutorial of the NIOS English, which is for secondary grade 10. So today we will be learning about the chapter number 1, that is called Snake Bite, and it is of course for our secondary education and so on. I'll be uploading for senior secondary also one by one, each and every lesson for English and some important points which are like example for the examination. Once we are done with all the videos related to one by one for the lessons, so that we can concentrate on the literature part, grammatical part, the writing part and the comprehension part, I would also upload finally a paper where I'll be explaining to you how basically the examination pattern takes place for this subject. So let us move forward and start with our today's lesson. So our first lesson for today is of course the snake bite, and the story goes as such. One day I saw a small snake in the compound. It was crawling along slowly, but when it saw me, it moved away quickly and hid itself in a coconut shell. I quietly went near and closed the mouth of the coconut shell with a stone. Then I took the shell and ran to grandmother. Look, grandmother, I cried, I have caught a snake. Snake? She asked the grandmother in alarm. She was shocked. She cried for help. Grandfather came running. When he learned that I had a snake in the shell, he snatched the shell and threw it away. The snake crawled away and disappeared behind some bushes. Grandfather warned me never to go near a snake because snakes were very dangerous. Later in the evening, I tried to catch a bee and it stung on my finger. I felt a sharp pain. I ran to the grandmother and told her that I had been bitten and wanted her to do something to stop the pain. Grandmother thought that I had been bitten by a snake. She called out to grandfather, "Come and see what was happened to Raja." Grandfather came at once. He looked at my finger and there was a blue mark. Without a word, he took me in his arms and started running. He ran across the garden and through the paddy fields. He ran and did not stop until he reached a small house quite some distance away from the home. Then he shouted for the man who lived there. An old gray-haired man came out of the house. He knew the cure for the snake bite. Grandfather asked him to cure me. The old man took me inside. He looked at my finger and then asked me to sit down and not to move. I sat on grandfather's lap. The old man then took some water in a brass vessel, sat in front of us, and started reciting some mantras. I wanted to tell him that it was a bee and not a snake that had bitten me, but grandfather held me tight and did not allow me to talk. Grandfather too had arrived by then and some other people with her. They looked sad and silently watched me. But this time the pain in my finger had stopped. But still I had to sit there and get cured for the snake bite. After a few minutes, the old man got up, washed my finger, and gave me some water to drink. He asked me to keep quiet for some more time. Then he turned to grandfather and said, "Thank God you brought Raja in right time. He is out of danger now. It was indeed a poisonous snake that bit him." Grandfather, grandmother, and all other thanked the old man for the magic cure. On returning home, grandfather sent him some gifts. So this was the story by Shankar, The Life with Grandfather, a story from one of his collections. And here there are some important words which needs to be learned in the form of some meanings, so that if you don't know, so crawling nothing but just moving, just like when a baby starts to walk, a baby walks in the form of crawling, taking not any support with the hands and limbs. In alarm means something in anxiety, in a shocking way, or something with a fear. A shell is the outer covering of a coconut, which after we have scraped out the coconut, we have the only shell left. Learned means get to know or get knowledge about. It's not like learning. Cure means the treatment. Reciting means to say something. Vessel, a container. Brass cup, pital ka lota, whatever you call it, and that's it. Now, Once we have understood the story well, that it was basically not a snake bite, it was a bee bite, okay? But everybody in the house, which was grandfather and my grandmother, were alarmed and they were like assuming that it was a snake bite. Due to all this confusion, things went here and there, but it didn't reach to a very bad moment. Just that the old man got what do you say, a fame for no reason. But and these are the questions now related to it. Instance question 1.1, you can solve it. It's very easy. You have the answers at the back of the page also. Let us then learn some new words. Some new words are from the form of meaning. So what is define the words which are opposite meaning to far? Far, near, open, close, appear, disappear, always, never. Okay, and then you have match the following: quietly, noisily, slowly. This one, no, no, quickly, went, came, dangerous, harmless. So there's some normal grammatical words, okay? So you can just go through it. Then all this you can skip, no need to worry about that thing. Part 2, in-text question 1, 2, again you can leave. Learning some new words such as stain. Stain is any unwanted mark or thing. So there was a blue stain on his hand. So basically it's a mark that we have learned. We have to find some words which are close meaning in the story. Far, somewhere called as further, new, ache, pain, all right. And then we have to use these words in order. She is wearing a diamond ring on her index finger. I have a dash in my legs because I have a pain or ache. I grew colorful flowers in my garden. And then farmers plow their paddy fields, we can say. All right. Some sound of some animals. So basically, these type of questions are not that much familiar in NIOS. It's just that you try to build up your grammar, your vocabulary in order to speak to good, to like, so that you can speak in a good language, in a good English, and you can have a nice hang of your language. Same time, all these are important because what happens is when you're writing your writing part, which is your essay and your letter writing, the most important thing is you do get your 5 marks, but those 5 marks are all basis on not just content. Language also takes a very important part in this. So along with language and content together, we make up a essay, we write a composition which gives you the marks of 5. So in order to get you minimum 4.5 to 4 marks, you literally need to make sure that you're using the right grammar, you're using the right part of speech, and at the same time it is helpful for you. Now you can still solve this puzzle question. That's also easy for you. Then part 3, in-text question, again nothing to know. Some opposite of the words again you can find in the back of the answer, so it's much easy, nothing special here. Mostly it is related for you to the literature part. Now in terms of some little grammar, which is regular verbs. So regular verbs are words which would have an ed in the end, like for example walk, walked, shock, shocked, reach, reached, shout, shouted, live, lived, dive, dived, like, liked. But irregular verbs are verbs which change completely. We just cannot add an ed in order to make it in a past tense. For example, eat will not be eaten. It is going to be ate. Okay. Similarly, drink will not be drinked. It is going to be drank or drunk. It depends upon the past and which form of past, whether it is past or past participle. It all depends, and we will be coming across most and important parts of speeches, which is in terms of grammar and all different types of verbs during the other lessons that we come across during the NIOS grade 10 and grade 12. Now, these are exercises you can just simply complete and follow. If you have any doubts, of course, you have my YouTube channel. You can comment on it and ask me for the help in that case also. Then we have something called as an adverb. Adverbs are nothing but these are the one which actually give more emphasize the sentences. Okay, so basically adverbs are verbs which follow with an adjective or with a noun. Sorry, with a verb basically. So basically what do we have? The verb ending with ly. So 99% of the English adverbs end with ly. For example, slowly, loudly, cleverly, beautifully. Okay, and there's only one person which does not have an ly in the end, like often, fast, and then what do you say, very. Then this is the way you can write just the composition, which is the starting the structure of a man. You need to make a physical feature of a man, and then you can just start. For example, this is the sentence of a man when he was describing that old man to whom he had gone. So Raja had explained it was an old gray-haired man who came out of the hut. He was short and stout and had a white beard. He wore a long white robe and skull cap. He looked quite shrewd and intelligent. He was very polite and gentle. So similarly, you can just explain about anyone who you come across and then just try to describe that particular person, because description is describing a particular thing is all about one of the parts of speech called as adjectives, and adjective is nothing but describing things. So you can just go through this one and check. Now This is some helping words for you here, so that it can help you to make the description of a person. Terminal questions, you can again go through it, not that much important, but just read it. The most important thing is you are thorough with the story and you know what is the story, because the literature questions will come. So this was lesson one. Hope that you have liked the video, and you have any other issues, please let me know. These are all the answers in the end, and will come soon for the next lesson. Thank you.